Hi everyone, this is going to be my last Endfield video until the game's release, maybe. And what I'm going to do now is just very quickly go through all the weapons in the game. Kinda judge them and assign some applicable operators to them as a follow-up to my last video where I talked about each operator. To judge these weapons, I'm not going to judge them based on how universal they are, but instead judge them based on some numbers, their effect efficiency, and some form of effect accessibility. You know, for example, an effect can be very niche to only heat characters, but the numbers are so impressive it just makes it a very good weapon. And for effect accessibility, it's going to be something like if the effect is good, but it can only be accessed through some gymnastic backflip trick, you know, at that point it becomes hard to judge and may have its rating lowered a little. But before I begin, I do want to introduce you to some of the resources so you kinda get an idea of where and what and how I'm basing things off. First, obviously, is the tier list. Each of them have their analysis and their respective rating. And this part is how much each character does as a 100% damage, single hit damage. Right, so basically, let's say if Surta had her signature weapon, and she auto-attacks once and deals 100% of the damage, that is this number right here. To make it a little easier and more clear for you to understand, let me just scroll through Surta here. If you will look at her autos, right here, this is her auto sequence, or basic attack sequence. It says 36, 54, and 56, and you know, blah blah blah. And if you would imagine her doing her full autos, full basic attack, she would be doing 36% of this number, 50, and then 54% of this number, and then 56% of this number. You get the gist. So let's say if all of her autos did 100% of her damage, she would be doing this number 5 times, if that makes sense. Now, this is all 100% of their single hit scaling to make scaling and everything else much easier. And all of the scaling information to do with all the calculations have been done using this document right here by 666BJ, shout out to him, and it is translated by me. And finally, operators who deal 2 types of damage have separated columns. For example, Arknights can do both electric with her skills and physical with her auto attacks. And obviously, operators who only has 1 column, they can only do 1 type of damage. All of the calculations are calculated with a calculator made by a friend, so shout out to him as well. And if you want to try it yourself, it's here. But there are really no clear instructions on how you could use it. If you want to know how, you can tell me and I'll probably make a video on that maybe. Now, the results, all of the results here may not be 100% accurate, but each number are very, very close to the exact amount, as the game rounds the value down, and the calculator is also not the greatest. The operators examples used are all level 99, potential 0, and all the weapons are rank 4. Equipments are not included, and that will be a separate video. Weapon bonus effects that further boost operators' damage but needs proccing are not included. For example here, it needs proccing by activating ultimate. That is not included. And operators' kits that boost their own damage that also needs proccing are not included. Like here, this is a condition. And to proc this, you need to have cryo infliction. However, the ones without conditions and acts more like a passive are included. For example, like Li Feng, right here. Every point of intellect and will further grants blah 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 attack. This is included because there is no condition and it's basically, it acts like a passive. Now, sorry for scrambling for so long, but that's it. Starting off, Forgeborn Scaff. It has a pretty good base attack. Attack boost is universal. Extra heat buff is also very great, very good even. And the condition is very good because like 120% is an absolute insane number. 120% after casting an ultimate, it cannot stack, but 120% is very good. And if you will look at here, even if Akakuli can do heat damage with it, it's still nowhere near as Surta. And just imagine if Surta had her own, imagine if Surta activated the ultimate and has that auto attack boost. Is crazy for her. Not to mention, it is intellect, which is Surta's primary attribute boost. So yeah, it's very niche, but the effect and everything else is very good. Grand Vision, good base attack, universal attack boost. The arch intensity makes Shatter much better. Amazing physical boost after Shatter or Crystal application. And I think only Administrator is able to have this because, one, I believe Administrator is the only one that can make Originium crystals. And she can, or they can also be in a Shatter comp. So yeah, I believe this is probably the best weapon, and this is just a very good weapon in general since it has a very good, like a massive physical boost after shattering. After shattering, and you know, oh no, not even shattering, They just need to apply a solidification, but they can't do that. They can do this. Even after do this, they just do this. Not to mention the agility is there, you know, primary. Never Rest. Universal attack boost. Very good free physical buff right here. It's just for free. It has to be given to a physical Vanguard because, one, it says recover SP. That's already locked the Vanguards. And two, physical damage dealt plus 8%. That's like, it's just for physicals. And obviously, no surprise there, it's for him. I'm not going to pronounce that. He does physical. He also buffs his physical team, and will is also his primary attribute. Yeah, his primary attribute is will, so that's just it's pretty much his weapon. Next one, Eminent Repute. So average base attack, physical damage passive is more valuable, but less universal. The reason why it's more valuable than attack is because, come on now, look at it. Is you get 1.9 more attack. It's just better. 16% free attack boost. That's pretty nice. They could also boost operators by your team by 12%. They can boost the wielder by 24%. All you need to make sure is that the operator using this has something that can consume stacks. Preferably operators with very valuable skills that also consume stacks. For example, he not only consumes stacks on one of his skills, but he also restores SP, and it does pretty good damage. Envin works here as well because they can also consume stacks and basically buff the team. Not to mention, agility is Administrator's primary stat. Primary attribute. Even if it isn't his primary attribute, it's still his secondary attribute, and it's still an increase. Rapid Ascent. I would say that's a very good base attack. Crit rate compared to these attack buffs, I would say is more valuable. You know, whilst it does not buff damage, it is still more valuable because crit value is more important than raw damage. I will talk about crit value in a separate video if needed, but I probably won't. Either way, good passive buff for battle skills and ultimates. That's, you know, 2 skills with buff. I would say that's pretty good. And against staggered enemies, they also do 80%. 80% is a lot. Preferably, you should give this to someone with a very good damaging battle skill and ultimate. Agility, I'm pretty sure it's Enmin and Chen's primary stat, so they are, you know, very, very fond of his weapon. He can also use this, but not as, I would say, not as well as Envin and Chen. Not because Envin and Chen will do more damage compared to him. No. I am saying it's a better fit for them. But I would still say he's a very good contender for the sword. Right, Thermite Cutter. Low base attack for a 6-star, but pretty good total attack buffs. That's 33% attack buff. It's pretty good buff, I would say, to the whole team. 8% from just using the operator's kit. Grant LSP automatically goes to Vanguards, and grants Link. It automatically goes for anyone who has Link. I would say 8% is pretty good, but I would say preferably it's better for Vanguards because it stacks. That would be a 16% buff for the whole team. He has multiple SP SB generation skills, so that's good. Akakuli also does both at the same time, so I would say this is pretty good for her as well. It's also will, which is his primary stat, and I'm not sure about Akakuli's primary, but I'm pretty sure she has will, yeah, as a secondary stat, which is still buffs damage. So I would say these two are the best for Thermite Cutter. Umbral Touch. Umbral Touch has a very average base attack, universal attribute buff, but less valuable because you lose about 0.105%, 0.105% damage, I think, compared to all of these ones. Because if will is the main attribute for him, and the main attribute for him would be, I mean, come on now, obviously we want to take the 68 over the 47, because I'm pretty sure it's 0.005% attack per point of attribute. Either way, off topic. So it's got a good heat damage buff, it's got a fine attack buff, but it is free, so but it does rely on combustion. So combustion gives you a total of 12% attack, a bit more damage, and I would say that is pretty good, because you just add that onto this, and that is a massive increase. Other than that, it just depends on how you approach this combustion condition. If you can do it well, then this sword is, I would say, this is very good. But if you can't, then it's tough. it's tough. Next one, White Knight Nova. Very, very good base attack. Heavily favors on reactions, because, let me tell you why. Because Arts Intensity, 34, and Arts Intensity, 40. Arts Intensity, if you don't know, it basically buffs reactions. Anyway, the wielder applies combustion or electrification to and the wielder gains arts damage dealt. Another 19.2% added to this. That's like, how much is that? That's like 38.4. Very good. That is amazingly good, by the way. And more arts intensity to make combustion do more damage and make electrification better. I forgot what the effect is, but it makes it better. So I would say this is a very valuable sword. Surta, because again, intellect is a main attribute, and Surta only does arts damage. So and I'm pretty sure Surta can combust by herself, so it comes pretty consistently. So she gets 38.2, 38.4 more attack in general for free, with a good base attack too. So Surta, this is probably just Surta's sword if you lost 50-50 on this one. Arknight, I would say, is also pretty good on this, because she can also apply electrification by herself, I think. Let me check that actually, because now I am doubting myself. One enemy electrification, yeah, possibly apply electrification here. So it could also work for Arknight as well. And give her a little bit more attack boost. She's not a damage character, but it still makes electrification much better for 15 seconds. Next one, Aspirant. So it's got a good physical buff. To be honest, that's about it. I've got average base attack. This is pretty valuable, 25%. But the operator obviously must have an ultimate that does pretty good damage. The stacks are good if you can stack, because that's 19. Or I'll just round it to 20. That's 20, 40, 60. Right, that's a lot of damage. Unfortunate that this cooldown has a trigger cooldown. You may see this as 0.5%, and you may think, it's whatever, right? Well, if you think about it, if this was not here, and if this was 0 seconds, if you lift 3 enemies at once, that is 3 stacks instantly. So this does play a pretty big role in some cases. So yeah, which is why this is not as great as I think, as some of you may think. Otherwise, I would say this is pretty good. Fin Chaser, very mediocre damaging properties. It basically hardly has any damaging properties in here. I mean, but it is very niche for battle skill and to debuff the enemy, only taking more cryo damage. And so far, only Elesh can do this. And I'm pretty sure strength is his main. Yep, strength is his main attribute. So yeah, not the greatest, I would say, but given to a leash or a leash, I would say this is a pretty fair sword. Fort Maker, good arts buff. It's got mid attack buff, very mid, very minimal, probably I would say. But the intensity is good. I would say this sword is for people who can, again, it's similar to where is it? I think it's this one. Yeah, this one. I would say very similar to this one. It's just a downgraded version of this one. So I would say it's great, but I wouldn't say it's not usable and wouldn't be applicable to a lot of characters. Next one, Thundering Steel. So this one's got, this one's contending base attack. That's pretty good. Good physical damage. Very mediocre attack buff. After the wielder deals a physical status, gain that buff for 20 seconds. And you can stack that twice. And again, this cooldown kind of messes with the stacks. Because again, if you can apply physical status to 2 enemies at the same time, and if this wasn't here, it applies 2 stacks instantly. Otherwise, I think this is pretty good. This is good. I would say this effect is still pretty good. That's 12%, 20% attack alongside with this. And obviously, this is given to Enmin and Chen because of the main stat, agility main stats. And if you don't know, this is the free sword that you can get right now. If you go to the official Arknights, the official Endfield Twitter post, and you can just find like a web event there that you can get this for free. Next one, Object Edge of Lightness. Is not lying. It's definitely not lying when it's saying lightness. The base attack is very light. It's basically not there. But however, this is pretty good. Secondary attribute plus 8%. It's very minimal, but it's still some damage increase. When the wielder recovers their speed by their own skill, the entire team gains heat and electric damage dealt plus 4.8% for 20 seconds. Max stacks 3 seconds. Duration of each attack is counted separately. That's fine. But this, as you can see, does not have this cooldown. Do you know why? Because this can only be triggered mostly at most once. So it doesn't need that cooldown. That is very unfortunate. But either way, given to a Vanguard, I would say this is fairly good. Because let's say if you have a heat DPS and paired with electric Vanguard, or actually you can just pair it with both Vanguards. You can just give them a pretty good buff right here. Not a lot of damaging properties, I would say. This is pretty good. I mean, this is fine. Mediocre. I would say it's very mediocre. 12 questions. Yep, I've definitely got 12 questions on why this effect is even a thing, counted separately. Come on now, just make the timer refresh. Anyway, again, a contending base attack stat. That's pretty good. This, I would say, is also pretty good. 13.6 is a good amount. This is pretty much just copy and paste. But when the wielder consumes an art reaction, gains attack. So this is pretty much given to people who is able to consume reactions. But yeah, it's you can stack it 2 times and you 4% attack. I would say it's pretty good, but I would say this is not the easiest to reach. So that's why I give it such a low rating. Well, 6 is not low, but like compared to everything else, it's pretty low. The measure, not a very good base attack. This is good though. When the battle skill hits an enemy, gain attack. Very easy to proc. Additional effect. This is also a very good amount. This is again very good. And Ben Chen here both use agility. He can use it as well. If you don't have a weapon for him, you can just slap this weapon on him and he would be pretty well. He would do pretty good because all 3 of their battle skills I would say are pretty good. Even though the rating's pretty low, I would still say that if you don't have a weapon for each of these characters, then just give them this sword. Next one, Wave Tide. When the wielder casts a combo skill. So this is again cast, a very easy way to proc your additional effects. This is, I would say, it's pretty good. It's universal. Intellect, I mean, intellect, I guess intellect is fine. Intellect is fine. It just means that most physical characters do not have intellect as a main or secondary attribute. So again, if you don't have a sword for Surta or Arknights, I would suggest giving them this. It will do. It will do. It will do. Par 11. I mean, that's genuinely really bad. Main attribute, that's very universal, I guess. I mean, this is a flat number, by the way. I just want you guys to know that every single 3-star, the effect is just a flat increase. It's not even a percentage increase. It's a flat increase. So it's just not a great sword. The only good quality of the 3-star weapons, because of how universal they are, right? But other than that, it does nothing. It does not do a lot. But yeah. Moving on to claymores or greatswords. So the first one, Kravinger. That's a pretty good base attack, strength. Yeah, that's what. Cryo damage. This is very good, very, very valuable. Wielder gains cryo damage plus 25%. So I don't even know why it has this part, to be honest. If the wielder gains this, so technically this is like a 44 something percent cryo damage. That is so a lot. Cryo damage dealt against an enemy with cryo infliction is increased by another time stacks. So this is a very, very, very valuable sword for cryo claymore users. So because this is only needs to be a stack. They don't need to be consumed to get this amount of damage. So let's say if an enemy has 4 stacks of cryo infliction, last right, let's say, just hits them, they get 16 times 4 amount of damage. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Honestly, I think that effect is so good for cryo DPSs. I'm gonna give it a 10. I think it's just that good. But yeah, no surprise here. Last right and Snowshine, strength is one of their core attributes, and they both do good cryo damage in some cases, especially Last Right. Last Right does amazing cryo damage. Now, if you would look at Last Right's number with Kravinger, you would see that it does not compare to Surta, right? Which is 3558. But with that buff, with her Claymore buff, this goes up to a lot. This goes up to a lot. I can do the calculation now, but I will do that later. But right now, you just have to take my word for it. Next one, Exemplar. Again, the same base attack. I would say that's pretty good. Attack percent, that's I would say that's pretty good as well. Physical damage plus 16%. Again, that is very good. You get attack percent and you get this for free. After the wielder's battle skill or ultimate hits an enemy, the wielder gains physical damage dealt times 16% for 30 seconds. Max cycle of the effects times 3. Duration of each stack is counted separately. So again, this is 2 things. You can easily get 2 stacks out of this, right? But this is, I would say, this is probably the best in slot for the pan, because the pan has a very, very, very scripted way of playing. You basically just want to use your battle skill, use your ultimate for some stacks, and then you just use his combo skill to deal crush damage because of his crush bonus. And where it says here, battle skill ultimate is exactly what he wants. It is exactly what he wants. And then after he does that, he gets 32% physical damage dealt buff, which basically buffs his combo skill much more, a lot more. So 32 plus 16. That's 48% attack buff or physical damage buff. That is very valuable. Honestly, if for any other physical claymores, I would say this is probably good. I'm giving it a 9 out of 5 now that I think about it. I would still say this is pretty good for Catcher too, but obviously compared to the pan or that pan, Catcher does not compare to him. I'm just gonna tell you that now. Former Finery or Finery, I don't know. It's got a very, very it's the highest base attacks for a weapon in the game. However, it has max HP as a not really damage boost. I should probably name this something else, but yeah, max HP boost, treatment when a when a protected operator takes damage, the wielder restores the said operator's HP by a very good amount, and it only triggers every 15 seconds. I would say 15 seconds is a very good duration. Obviously this is a support buff, claymore, and the support capabilities are amazingly good, but the reason I did give it a higher than a 9 is because it lacks so much damage. Like personally, I would trade treatment efficiency out or max HP out for like a damaging property, and then that will be a 9. But this is purely focused on support, but purely focused on healing. Will as a stat, so obviously it's going to be best in the slot for Ember, Snowshine, and Catcher, because they all provide protection to operators. And if I scroll to Defender tab, Will is Ember's secondary. I'm pretty sure Will is all of them have Will as secondary, so yeah, all three defenders are welcome to take the sword. Next one, Sundered Prince. So again, very good base attack. Strength, already, that is all of defenders' thingies. It's got a good attack boost, and after the wielder performs a final strike on the enemy, they gain a basically 40% attack buff for 8 seconds. I mean, yeah, 8 seconds is not long, but if the wielder is also the controlled operator, final strike also deals a big amount of stagger. The stagger part is good, but this attack bit is very good as well, because as you would see here when I go to last right, and then I go to final strike, you can see here, the next final strike performed by the currently controlled operator within a certain duration creates a last strike mirage. So obviously you wanna create mirages, and if you get a final strike with last strike herself, she not only gets a mirage, which scales out her own attack, by the way, she gets this buff for how many seconds. The reason I give it higher than a 9 is because sure, it has damage priorities, but I don't think you can keep this up as long as you would think. Obviously it can be consistently procced, but you have to go out of your way to consistently proc this by using final strike, which means you have to go through all of your autos. You have to basically waste time, go through all of your autos just to get this buff, even though this buff is very good, but you know. But it is pretty high on the list, I would say, because it doesn't have a cooldown. So yeah, it is a very consistent buff. Sorry. Next one, Thunder Burge or Berg. Base attack. That's again one of the highest, or it is the highest. HP shield applied when the wielder restores HP of their own with their own combo skill. Grants the controller operator an additional the wielder's max HP shield for this many seconds and can only proc every 15 seconds. So again, very focused on support, no damage properties, but compared to this is only shield and this is healing, and I do believe unless protection has some sort of resistance to it compared to HP, then I would say this is probably on the same level. But right now, I don't think it does. Either way, Snowshine is the only one who could restore HP with their combo skill. So if you ever get this weapon, just slap that on the Snowshine. I'm pretty sure she's gonna be free anyway. Next one, Ancient Canal. So it's got a contending base attack. It's got Arts Intensity plus 16 again. So you can already tell that it is gonna be some sort of reaction based thingy. But not reaction. I mean, yeah, reaction, but like any, like, yeah. After the wielder consumes physical stacks, the wielder gains physical damage dealt 8 times stacks consumed. So how much is this? 4 times 8, that is 4, I don't know, 60, wait, that's 32, I think. Yeah, 32. This is 32 for 20 seconds. I would say it's very good. Consumes vulnerable stacks. So every time, when they consume, they get this much damage. And I think this comes before the damage, comes before before the damage is dealt with the final number, if you get what I mean. So I would say this is very good. Arts Intensity also, I think it does affect physical. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to double check on that one later. But you might have to take my opinion with a grain of salt. I think Arts Intensity does affect physical in some way. Either way, Depan, I would say it's best in slot for him because He is the only claymore that does physical damage at the moment. So yeah. Finishing cool with a free sword after the 35 million pre-registers. Congratulations. A mediocre base attack, but the HP is, the HP, the secondary attribute combo skill treatment plus 32%. This is just a snowshine made weapon. There's not much to it. It increases her attributes for a little bit more damage, but 32%, 27%, honestly, I don't think this is that great. I would honestly dunk it down to a 7. Next weapon, object heavy burden. So 471. That's the same as this. Very contending. Strength. This is applies knocked or weakened. Defense plus thingy. So this is obviously another not very support, I would say. It's weird. It's kind of trying to buff the user itself, but it doesn't really increase damage. I don't really, now that I think about it, I don't really like the sound of this. But either way, it's very niche for operators who uses the defense stat for something. Knockdown can be procced by Ember, and Weaken can be procced by Catcher. The reason why I put Catcher over Ember as recommended to operators is because Catcher actually does use defense for something. I'm pretty sure for damage, but I've completely forgot. You can check that yourselves. But he does use defense and Ember doesn't. But Ember can still use this for defense for extra tanking anyway, right? Because she applies knockdown. Seeker of Dark Lung. So, very mediocre base attack. Ultimate gain, I would say this is pretty good. Main attribute, just to buff that a little bit more. After the wielder applies an Arts Burst attack, gain 9.6% attack for 30 seconds. Max attack can be free, so that is around like 30%-ish. And again, this effect kind of ruins the total thing trick. Either way, after the wielder applies an Arts Burst, I think only Snowshine is probably the most reliable user for this sword, because if you think to her ultimate is it rains down like some cryo snowflakes that deals damage every 0.5 seconds. So she can actually get max stacks on this one and can actually get a pretty good stacks going. Not to mention ultimate efficiency, gain efficiency for Snowshine, and Snowshine needs a ultimate to proc this. Come on, I feel like this is pretty much made for her at this point. Industry 0.1 or 0.1. Bad, good, very easy. I mean, this is gonna be the same. This is gonna be the exact same to what I mentioned for swords. I would say, yeah, this is very, it's a very standard sword. If you don't have anything else, just slap this on them. And max HP, very weird. Max HP kind of ruins the damage property of this sword. I think Snowshine could also use this, but I think the Dapan would probably be better. I mean, yeah, I think Snowshine can use this as well. Either way, I don't think it's that great because it's HP, so I gave it a 5.5. And this, you get the gist why this is really bad. Now on to the polearms. First we have Mountain Bearer. Mountain Bearer is 6-star. The highest base attack, very good. This is very good. Physical damage bonus, very good. Against vulnerable enemies, the wielder gains damage dealt plus 32%. Now that is so good because in the physical team, if you haven't watched my last video, I said something like whenever you're playing the game, you should always have something on the enemy. And in the case of physical teams, you should always have some vulnerable on the enemy, right? So whoever has this weapon will always do 32%. It's still a condition, but the condition is so lenient. This is basically free. I have not included it into this calculation, but you get the gist, right? This will be 100% higher than this if that 32% was applied. After applying knockdown or physical debuff, the wielder gains all attributes plus 12.8% for 20 seconds, and it can stack. So now you can see that why it's so good for Li Feng. So the reason why, again, right, you should know, I mentioned it earlier in this video, he uses 2 stats to increase his attack, and this increases both his stats. Li Feng uses all of his attribute stats to increase his damage. So this is pretty much just made for him, let's be honest, right? And yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 weapon. This is so very good for him. This is so very good, and this is very good as well. I'm pretty sure agility is also his main. Yeah, agility is his main attribute. So yeah, very good. Next one, Valiant. 540 base attack, that's pretty good. Agility, physical damage, these are all very good with a free 16% buff. That is also very good. When the wielder applies physical statuses, the wielder also gains another hit of physical damage equal to 192% of the wielder's attack. So this pretty much tells you that whoever you give them to, make sure they have a good, really good attack stat. For example, Li Feng, like his attack stat literally scales off 4 attributes. Like that is very good. So again, this is pretty much made for him. Physical is very good. The condition is very nice, very lenient. You just do your rotation, and this just kind of happens. This one's free. This is good, and I should probably explain why Estella is good for both as well. So Estella, as hopefully most of you know, that Estella ultimate, it does physical damage and applies lift. So let me check. I'm pretty sure she does physical damage. Either way, she does physical damage, and her combo applies physical debuff. And what does the first sphere say? When applying physical debuff, all attributes plus this, which increases her attack. And against vulnerable enemies, she does physical damage, doing this amount of damage and doing this. So if you want to build like an Estella nuke, this weapon would be very good for her. And for this as well. Because the physical debuff she applies also count as this. However, it doesn't come too often. Honestly, I don't think this is a very good thing for her. But she still has some sort of like good amount of physical statuses application anyway, so I would say it's for her. It's pretty good for her. Either way, the default numbers on this sphere is very nice. As you can see here, these are all very high. These are arts damage, so this weapon does not affect arts damage at all, but for physical damage, they are literally the highest numbers on the board, maybe except from this one, but I'll talk to that one right after. But yeah, very solid sphere. All right, Jet. 450 base attack, pretty good. 17 attack scaling, that's pretty good. Arts damage dealt, that is very valuable. After the wielder casts a battle skill, the wielder gains more arts damage, 19%, for 15 seconds. After the wielder casts a combo, arts damage dealt plus 19% for 15 seconds. I mean, it's the same. So if you combo skill, you get buff. If you battle skill, you get buff. Both the skills apply separately and do not stack with themselves. That's fine, because this one stacks with these ones anyway. So far, there are 3 polearm operators in the game. There is Li Feng, there is Estella, and there's this one, right? The one of the Thunder Lancers. This is pretty much made for her. Because combo, I'm pretty sure combo skill is spear, or is a battle skill to return spear. Either way, I think it's combo skill. Combo skill throws out a spear, and then you press ultimate to put out another spear, and then you press her battle skill, which will include this amount and this amount. And after you've returned all the spears, you get this amount, which refreshes the timer, because remember, they don't stack. And I'm pretty sure Will is one of her things as well. Yeah, Will is a primary, so this is pretty much made for her. This is still a very good polearm still, because just doing your normal rotation just straight up gives you more damage. So if there's ever a, let's say, another arc operator in the game that comes out that does arts damage, this could potentially be a very good weapon for her, especially with that 17 attack. But you do gotta hope that that new operator has Will as main or primary. And if you would look at here, 29 arts damage. And keep in mind, 2460 is still her physical damage with this polearm, which is comparable to Valiant. So you can clearly see here which one is the better spear or which one is the better polearm for this character, for this operator. Next one, Justice, Justice problem. So this one is 448, very mediocre one. Ultimate gain, so that cycles your ultimate quicker. Crit rate very valuable. After the operator applies vulnerable to an enemy with no vulnerable stacks, plus 24 attack for 15 seconds. Now, this is very tough because, like what I've said earlier, preferably you want at least something on the enemies. This kind of defeats that point, but I'm pretty sure that Li Feng also has a something in his kit that does like an extra thing if there are no if the enemy he's attacking has no vulnerable stacks, right here. So I would say this is a pretty good cheap polearm for him. If you ever get this and you never get this, I would say this is a very good and stable polearm for him. It makes him cycle his ultimate quicker. And for other, let's say if there's another thingy, well, what is it? Let's say if there's another physical polearm operator, I would say this is also pretty good because, again, this effect is kind of niche. You just gotta hope that the operator that's using this polearm is a support like Li Feng, because obviously you won't get this buff if you consume stacks. I'm pretty sure this comes before consuming stacks. Unless you consume stacks and then you do damage afterwards, then I would say this is pretty good. But yeah, it's very niche for Li Feng. I don't think it's too universal for anyone else. In fact, I'm gonna dunk this to an 8 because of its accessibility. Its rough accessibility. And as you can see here, the numbers are also not too impressive either. Now, the next one, Cohesive Traction. Again, a very mediocre attack. Will Electric, I'm pretty sure this is her signature weapon, but if there's another electric polearm operator, then I would say this would be still pretty good because combo skill is buffed for free. For 30 seconds after the wielder casts a combo skill, the wielder gains electric damage for this amount of duration during the next battle skill cast. Max stacks free. So obviously this is very universal, but a lot of things are locked behind this thing. I mean, this is nice and this is nice, but like pure attack buff is still locked behind it. I mean, it doesn't even have a pure attack buff, it's just more electric damage. Either way, I still think for like an electric polearm operator, this would be still a good choice, but other than that, yeah, it's still pretty good, I would say. I think the only thing dragging this thing down is the low base attack though. Next one, Object Razor Horn, 448 base attack. That's like it's the same as this. You know, you get the point right at this point. Right, so physical damage, that's very good. To enemies with cryo infliction or solidification, the wielder gains damage dealt plus %. I do not know this yet, but I will change this as soon as I know the number. After consuming solidification, attack plus 19.2 for 15 seconds. Now, I am going to go ahead and assume this is going to be a pretty good amount. Let's say like 10 to 20%, because this is a 5-star weapon. And I would say this is very good, but it is very niche for shatter teams. Because 1, physical, 2, cryo and solidification requirements for buff. So who does that go to? Estella, right? I mean, that's the only thing you can think of. Either way, I still think this is a very good weapon because you get 2 sources of attack buffs and you get this. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Will is Estella's main. Yeah, Will is Estella's main skill. So yeah, I would say this is pretty good, but it is a little niche for shatter teams. Moving on to the 4 stars, Agilo Slayer. After the, okay, first of all, this is terrible and this is good. After the wielder's battle skill hits an enemy, gain this attack. We've talked about this before, right here. This is just fairly universal, but only restricts to people with arts. Currently, right now, I would say only Aviana, only she can really do reliable arts damage. So yeah, this is only for her. Otherwise, I would think this is a fairly decent weapon. I mean, this is just a stable condition, and this is just for free, right? I would say, yeah. The next one, however, I would actually consider this pretty good, but not too good. I mean, okay, 1, it's got a higher base attack than this. 2, this attack is already pretty good, and 3, This condition is free. This condition is basically free. I have included this number in here, right? You can see that the number is actually pretty good. As long as you stay above the 80% health value, you're doing pretty good damage. But that is the only, I mean, 1 is universal, 2, it has good scalings, it's just the health. So if you, let's say if you don't have any 5-star weapons, I would say just run this. And this one, you get the point. It's not great. It's so bad. Moving on to the hand cannons. So artsy, tyrannical. So fire space attack, very nice. Crit rate is always good. A free 25.6% cryo damage dealt. That is amazing. After the wielder scores a critical hit with a battle skill, the wielder gains more attack for 30 seconds. Well, more cryo damage for 30 seconds. And max stacks for the effects. And it can stack 3 times. You can see why it's good with Yvonne, because it hits 4 times. I'm pretty sure her battle skill hits 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. So if you don't build crit on Yvonne, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, enough about Yvonne. This weapon, if there's another hand cannon cryo DPS, it's so good. It is so very good. Even if their battle skill doesn't hit multiple times, this combined with this, it's like 44.8, I think, 44.8 or something. That is stupidly good. It's stupidly good. And just imagine Yvonne with it. And as we come over here, hand cannons, you can see that it is over 3,000. 3,000, and it's breaching like some of these weapons, which is, you know, absolutely amazing. I mean, Surta is a different story. Either way, amazing weapon. Honestly, this is honestly a 10. Honestly, I think this is a 10 because it's so good. It's so good. You get stacks, and you just need to hit crits with a battle skill for more damage, and it's just amazing. Next one, Wedge. So it's got a very good base attack. It's got a good default attack percentage, but good passive attack percentage. Arts damage dealt for free, 19.2%. When the wielder casts a skill, the wielder gains more arts thingies. So they only need to cast it. They don't need to hit anything. They don't need to, you know, hit multiple things. They don't need to score hit to crit. Just casting it, free 12%. Very nice, very good. After the wielder applies an elemental reaction with their own battle skill, the wielder gains more, a lot more. So this is clearly focusing on for operators with a very, very valuable battle skill. And again, Yvonne is amazing. Yvonne is, I mean, Yvonne with this weapon is still very, very, very good. If you don't get her signature weapon, and if you have Wedge, just put this on her and she will do, I wouldn't say comparable damage because her signature weapon does a lot of damage, but you can see here it's still very, very good. Intellect, I'm pretty sure this also works for Laurite as well. I think intellect is her main. I think she's intellect something. She's intellect agility. Yeah, intellect agility. Oh no, it's agility intellect, but you can see here that Fluorite can also use this weapon, and she also does only arts damage, and she does inflictions on her battle skill, so she can still cause an arts reaction with her battle skill. So very good for her as well. Very, very good weapon, I would say. So 9.5 out of 10. Very, very strong. Next one, Clanable. 513 average base attack. So as you can see, it's got this, yeah, the basic attack buff, the pretty good main attribute. Main attribute 16%. It's still a bit of that. It's still a little bit of damage. Preferably you want to build on the main attribute every time you see this, so this percentage goes up even higher. After the wielder consumes an arts reaction, target enemy suffers arts damage taken 16% for the specified enemy 15 seconds, and this can only trigger 25 seconds. I would have given this a 9 if this wasn't so long, and this is fine. This is fine. I think I only give it an 8.5 because this cooldown is generally very, very long. But regardless, it can still do bits. It's got 16%, 16% of attribute, 16% of this, which I think it scales the same with elemental damage. And attack is very nice, and obviously Wolfguard's main attribute is strength. So I would say it's a very good weapon made for a Wolfguard. Let's look at the scaling over here. See, very, very good. Obviously, it's not going to be good as Wedge, but I think Wedge is just a very strong weapon in general, but still very, very good. Navigator. So Navigator, this is main attribute, so yeah, that makes it more universal. Ultimate gain is very good. Crit rate is very, very good. After the wielder applies solidification or corrosion, cryo damage and nature damage dealt plus 19%, and further increases your crit rate by 8%. So this is another case of just making sure you do this. You have these. You can do this with anything. You don't have to, it's not locked behind a specific skill. You can just do them with anything. And obviously right now, the 3 guns we have are Yvonne, Fluorite, and Wolfguard. I don't think there's anyone else. So yeah, Yvonne, Fluorite are the only ones that do cryo and nature damage. But for the weapon in general, it's very good. It's got this, which makes it very, very good, because both their ultimates are really good. And the crit rate's very good. This is it's just good. It's just good, guys. It's just good. Next one. So onto the 5 stars now. Sorry. Object. Whatever that is. 471. That's a pretty contending base attack. Attack plus 8%. That's really good. No, not really good. That's just good. That's fine. This is really good. Ultimate gain efficiency plus 16.19. The builder gains nature dealt plus 8% times stacks consumed. So after the wielder consumes an arts reaction, this is basically Fluorite's weapon. She consumes and she gets a massive nature buff. And obviously her ultimate's really good, so this is very good for her too. And as a weapon overall, I do think is fine. It's not the greatest, but it's definitely pretty good for nature gun characters. Opus the Living. It's a fine base attack, so crit rate is very good. This is really good. After the wielder applies an art reaction, this is really good, and this is only applying, not consuming an art reaction, and it's given for 20 seconds, which is really good. Max stacks for effects of the same name is 2, so this goes up to 24. Duration of the stack is counted separately, and it's going to only do this thing, but it's fine. I would say this is a fine weapon. If you don't have a good gun, like one of these, like a wedge, one of these, or maybe the navigator, I would say this is a pretty good gun to take. Oh no, sorry, not this one. Oh, the Opus one. This is a pretty good weapon to take. But yeah, I don't think it's too great, but it is a pretty solid gun. Next one, Rational Farewell. So that is a very, very mediocre attack. This is really good. Heat damage increase. Battle skill damage dealt plus 16. That's pretty good. No condition, and it's straight up. After the wielder's combo skill applies Arts Burst or Combustion, attack plus 25.6. That is a hefty amount. So obviously, for heat gunners, this can be really good. But you just need to make sure that their combo skill applies combustion or any arts burst, so any infliction, any infliction, and it's fine. But as a weapon on its own, I wouldn't say is too outstanding, but it is, I would say, is a contending one for heat guns. And obviously Wolfguard is his gun. Strength is his primary sandwich shot, and he does do heat damage. On to the 4 stars now. Howling Guard, 10% attack. That's pretty good. After the wielder's battle skill hits an enemy, plus 19. That's pretty good. In total, that's with a 29.4. Overall, that's pretty good. This is like the generic weapon that you would have obviously when you're starting the game, but you don't got any 5-star weapons, especially not any 6-star weapons. But if you do get Howling Guard and you do happen to get Yvonne, I would suggest putting this on ASAP. Long Road. This is pretty much the same thing, except that the only thing is that it's arts damage is a attack. and you only need to cast your combo skill, it's preferably this goes to... Obviously, this one goes for someone with a more valuable battle skill, like Yvonne has a really valuable battle skill, and this one goes to people with a more value combo skill. Which, so in my opinion, Wolfguard as a... or this weapon works better with Wolfguard's combo skill than Yvonne's. Like, okay, the best I can explain it is that his combo skill ticks more boxes for the long road than Yvonne's combo skill. That's what I'm trying to say. And again, 3 stars, it's whatever. The only good thing about them is how universal they are. Again, I'm just going to show you this page real quick, so you know roughly what the numbers are. Moving on to arch units, delivery guaranteed, which is Angelina's signature weapon, I'm pretty sure. So will ultimate efficiency gain is very good. This as just a straight up thing is also very good. After the wielder applies lifted with their own combo skill, the team gains arts damage increase 16%, which is really good. For every enemy lifted, the team gains 3.2 up to a question mark amount of times. Even though this niche is very niche towards Angelina, and who knows, maybe in the future we will have an arch units character who also does nature damage but also applies lift. If you gave this to any of the characters that does that, I would say this is very, very good, because arch damage is insane. This is also insane. We don't know the stacks, but I would probably say at most 4. Either way, this is also really good. 8.5, I think that's a fair score, I would say. Right, so next one, detonation unit. The same base attack as delivery guarantee. This is a pretty average one. I would say still pretty good. Arts intensity, which arts burst, so you can already see that it already specializes in reactions. Target enemy or it suffers some more arts damage for 15 seconds after someone applies an arts burst. Probably should give it to someone who has a good source of inflictions. So, for example, I mean, they all have pretty good infliction properties. Maybe except from Aya, but I think she has a slightly less. She doesn't proc inflictions as well as these two. My opinion, but either way, I think this is a very good when it comes to specializing arts damage and arts reactions. It gives you pretty good arts intensity. It gives you a little bit of damage. I think the only thing missing from this is that it misses some damaging property, because the only damaging thing you have is the secondary attribute, which secondary attribute isn't isn't a lot. It's secondary attribute is 0.002% per attribute point. Dreams of the Starry Beach. So this one is pretty much made for Aya. First of all, Aya specializes in healing. Massive increase in treatment efficiency. Secondary attribute boosts her I think it was will. I think it's will. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, it's will. If you guys don't know, will boost it scales with her healing amount, so this is gonna make her heal much more. 25.6% is a very, very big amount. I think this is the biggest amount we've seen yet from a secondary attribute boost. After the wielder consumes corrosion, no one consumes corrosion except for me, let's be honest. Target enemy suffers arts damage taken plus 16%. So as a general weapon, I would say this is pretty good, because consuming corrosions, and if consuming corrosions is part of the character's kit, then obviously you just get this next part for free, which it's part of your rotation, and it's not something like locked behind a specific skill, like, oh, you can only activate this when, you know, it's battle skill or something like that. Again, unfortunately, there's 0 damage properties except from this attribute boost, and again, secondary attribute boosts are very, very minimal in damage, but as a weapon in general, I believe this is a pretty good weapon just for healing, especially with secondary attribute, because if you have some healing properties in your kit, most of the time you will have will as either a secondary or a main stat. You kind of want as a secondary stat if you're using this weapon, just so you get that boost, but you know, primary stat, it's still, I would say, it's still fine, since intellect still boosts damage anyway. I mean, but preferably you want a secondary stat. And if we take a look at here, numbers not very impressive, but it is somewhat up there somehow. But again, it's not very impressive. There's no damage boost, unlike Detonation Unit. This one, it is a pure support weapon. Alright, next one, Oblivion. It's got a pretty good base attack already. It's the highest out of every one of them. Attack boost is very good. It's pretty good. Critical rate boost is very good. After the wielder casts an ultimate, the wielder gains arts damage dealt plus 38.4% for 15 seconds. After the wielder casts a combo skill, the wielder gains arts damage dealt plus 19.2% seconds. They do not stack, but you can already see that you should already give it to someone who has a very good ultimate or a very good combo skill. This is probably the arts unit you want to have for like a orbiter, for like a DPS orbiter or a sub DPS orbiter, or any orbiter that you want them to do damage with, because not only you get a pretty good attack boost, you get crit rate boost, which as I've mentioned before, crit value is always more valuable than raw damage, and every time you cast an ultimate, you get that amount is genuinely mental. Now, I know Aya is not a damaging unit, but the reason I put her here is because I believe after she activates her skill, her ultimate, all of the sheeps will have that damage boost, since she did cast her ultimate, unless all the sheeps count only takes their damage stat from Aya before she gets the effect, then that's a different problem. But now that I think about it, that's probably the case. I'm gonna move her back here real quick, and then I think Perlica does better than I think Perlica would be a better fit than Angelina. Just gonna quickly put a question mark next to Aya, because, you know, like I said, it depends if the sheep takes that stat before having this effect or not. Unfortunately, the game still has not been released, so I am not able to test that, but I will test that as soon as I can, as soon as I get my hands on an Oblivion and Aya, which is a very expensive few. However, combo skill also give them a pretty good attack boost. If we go to Perlica, she has a very good ultimate. I think very good ultimate and a very, I wouldn't say very good combo skill, but it's still pretty valuable with that electrification. Preferably, I think battle skill would have been better, but yeah. I think Angelina's combo skill is also, arts reactions apply to an enemy, which is on like a really quick on command thing. But Perlica, I think you can, because any operator needs to hit a final strike. Either way, this is a very good DPS weapon for any orbiter operators. Opus, the edge figure. Main attribute, that's fine, makes them more universal. Attack, that's a pretty good boost, and even more attack, that is amazing. And if we would look at the sheets over here, we can see that it's got a pretty good scaling already. Especially they have pretty much the second amount of scaling, and especially with that arts damage boost, you just imagine how high this number could be, right? All these number could be, all of these are like a 40% boost. It's crazy. Next one, Opus Edge Figure. Main attribute plus 47, that's fine. That makes it more universal. Attack, that's double, that's just more attack, that's still pretty good. After the wielder deals nature infliction with their own battle skill, the team gains arts damage dealt plus 8% for 15 seconds. For every enemy suffering from nature infliction applied by the said battle skill, the team gains bonus arts damage plus 3.2% up to a max of, I don't know yet. Now, as you can see, there's already a condition, a very nasty condition. And it's not nasty, but it really depends on where you use this. If you're using this in a single target boss setting, you are pretty much locked out of this bottom effect. 8% is also not a lot, and the only good part is that it boosts the wielder's damage by a pretty good amount. However, if you are in a multi-target situation, this could be very, very good. That's why I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, because in a multi-target situation, this buff can go up pretty, I would say pretty high. I would say this is probably at most 3 stacks, 3.2, so what's that, 6.4, 9.6, 9.6 plus 8, that's like 27.6%. That is a lot of percent. So in a multi-target setting, this is very, very good. Obviously, the only operator who can apply the second part is Angelina, because she is the only one who has AoE capabilities with her battle skill and also has nature inflection. So if you do not have delivery guaranteed, I would recommend putting this on her if you have this. If you don't have neither, then tough luck. Next one, this one, 486. Pretty contending, but it is a 6-star, so it's pretty low for a 6-star, I would say. And right off the bat, you can see it's max HP and treatment efficiency, so you can already see that this is a mainly a support weapon. But how good is it? Well, after the wielder gives HP treatment with their own skill, the entire team gains I would say a good amount of attack buff. However, with their skill, I don't know if talents counts up skill, but if they do, I would say this is probably an 8, but if it doesn't, then it stays as 7.5. After the wielder gives HP treatment with their own skill, it's, I mean, really only, I feel like talents should count, because Aya talent heals. I think Aya's talent heal. Yeah, Aya's talents heal, I think. So talents do heal. I guess it's yeah, I guess it's an 8 out of 10 then. Because if talents count, then this is pretty much a very valuable one. Aya talent heals, so she can heal pretty consistently. If you go pick up the sheeps, you can basically use a skill, pick up a sheep, get this buff. Sadly, it cannot stack, but however, you can keep the timer up for pretty long. I would say if you pick up a sheep, I think the sheep shadows last 10 seconds. So if you pick one up, wait until this is like 5 seconds left or 6 seconds left. Pick up another sheep 1 second before it expires. You can get at least 25 seconds uptime on that attack boost. It heals pretty well, and it gives you a good damage boost with will properties. So will obviously is gonna make your operators heal a lot more. So I would say this is a pretty good support weapon. Doesn't really have any damaging properties, but as a support weapon, I would say this is pretty good. Teehee, the only reason I put Teehee behind Aya, because Teehee cannot heal on command, because she only heals when your operator is missing HP. And if you haven't watched my character analysis video, preferably you want to have the amp over the HP. So it's kind of rough for Teehee, but still a pretty good viable option for her. Next one onto the 5 stars, freedom to okay. This is a very mediocre base attack, but the treatment efficiency already tells you that it is going to be another support weapon, because will as an attribute boost, also boosting your main attribute for operators with will as main. You basically get a massive healing boost when the wielder restores HP with their own battle skill. Again, battle skill. The control operator is restored for another amount of HP. This is fine. This weapon is, it's more sustained for the operator you're healing and the operator that is healing. But the only issue is that this is all this thing does. This is all it does. It's only healing. It's zero anything else. It's only healing. If you would look at other support weapons, you can see that they both have some form of utility in them, some form of anything to just pump a little bit more damage out. This does not have that. If you're just going for pure support and you don't really care about min-maxing that damage and you want to be alive, I would say take this weapon. But personally, I will not take this weapon. I personally would like more damage, but I would say this is still a pretty good weapon to have. The only issue is that it's locked behind battle skill, so operators who can't heal with battle skill and can heal with everything else, it's basically useless to them. Next one, 448. That is a very mediocre attack base attack. Will, okay. Ultimate gain efficiency. Pretty basic weapon. Yeah, it's got the main attribute boost for will, for a little bit of healing, and it gives you a little bit more faster ultimate cycle. The art intensity just tells you that the person who's holding this preferably would want to apply some sort of reaction or some sort of arts, anything, right? Pretty generic universal weapon. It's not too crazy in any regards. It's not really specialized in healing, and it's not really specialized in damage. I mean, it doesn't really have any damage going. I mean, it has utility, I guess. So I would say this is not the greatest, but it is still very usable. Next one, Wild Wanderer. That's a pretty bad base attack. It's pretty low. Art intensity plus 16. When the wielder applies electrification, the whole team gains physical damage dealt and electric damage dealt plus 12.8% for 15 seconds. So as you can see here, this is a very rough weapon because okay, for one, art intensity is very good because you get that for free, and when and you basically want electrification in your kit, and you have like free electric damage as well, but that's, you know, we've established that's very good for like the past 4 pages. Now, the team gains physical damage and electric damage is very, very difficult because you either, if you want to min-max, you either have to run this with basically one electric arts unit operator with 3 other physical operators, which in that case it's kind of rough. I don't know why you would do that. Or you run a full team of electric team, which right now I would say it's pretty viable. There's a pretty good electric team out there, but except from that, this is very, very rough. Obviously, the only option here is for Perlica because she does electric damage. She's the only arts unit that does electric damage, so it's the only one for her. If you still want to run like a normal team and you want to run this weapon, that's fine. It's just that it won't min-max any damage. This weapon will only buff her damage and won't buff your team damage, but it's completely your choice. Object art identifier. Now arts intensity, so you know you're looking for arts reactions already. Max HP, that's a little weird because why would you want to focus on HP stat when we've already established that intellect and arts intensity it's like a little bit more arts damage focus thing. But after the wielder applies arts burst or physical status with their own combo skill, the entire team gains heat damage dealt and electric damage dealt plus 12.8%. I do not think this is a great weapon at all. It's not low, but this is still a very mediocre amount of intensity. And also this max HP just kind of ruins it. I kind of hope this was attack percent, but it is whatever, right? And this part I would say is pretty good. It is a little niche that it's only heat and electric damage dealt plus 12.8%, but that is still I would still say that's a pretty good amount, and there's not really a harsh condition locked behind it. Actually, no, there is. It's combo skill. It's combo skill. So it's only you have to apply arts burst or physical status with their combo skill. Otherwise, this effect does not matter. Yeah, I wouldn't say this is the greatest weapon, but it is certainly usable for operators who obviously does this with their combo, right? They're all listed here. Now, Stanza of Memorials. Very mediocre base attack. The attack boost is good, and again another HP boost. I don't know why they're doing this now. But after the wielder casts an ultimate, operator whose elements differ from the wielder gain attack. Now this is something I can get behind. Genuinely, I think this is probably a 6.5. No, I wouldn't say a 6.5. No, I wouldn't say, because this is yes, it's a good amount. It's not a very big amount. It also doesn't buff the wielder themselves. It only buffs the team, which, you know, it's not an issue, but it's still something you should think about. And you have to give it someone with a valuable ultimate because it is locked behind the ultimate. For example, teehee. If you use teehee ultimate, which is purely buffs, you can just pop teehee's thing and then buff everyone's thing. But the unfortunate news is that I'm pretty sure teehee only buffs cryo or something. Cryo in nature, sorry, no, not just cryo in nature. So if you do give it to teehee, you'll have to run like teehee and then 3 other nature characters. Either way, I think this is still a pretty good effect. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to trigger. It's got a simple script behind it. It's basically just telling you that use ultimate before DPS phase. That's pretty much it. Again, HP boost is a little weird. I don't know why that's there. Next one, fluorescent rock. Now, I'm not going to talk about the base attack for these 3 now because you can already see that how red they are. But the attack boost is pretty good. When the wielders hits an enemy with battle skill, gain this amount. Again, this is a pretty good simple buff. The only thing holding like this effect back, I would say, is probably the space attack, its rarity, and this rarity in general because it decreases these 3. But I would say this is still a decent weapon if you don't have any 5 stars or 6 stars and you just start playing the game. I would say put this weapon on someone and just let them rock. Hypernova Auto. When the wielder's HP is above 80% plus 24%. Now this is a massive, not massive, but I would say this is a very good attack buff alongside with arts damage buff already. So long as you keep your operator's HP above 80%. I hope you do, because running a defender with protection would make this pretty applicable. Especially with this arts damage, this is a very good scaling one. So again, if you don't have any 5 stars or 6 stars, just run the Hypernova Auto. And then finally, this one, yeah, we've talked about this like 4 different times, so I'm going to switch to this tab here, let you have a look. So as you can see, the Hypernova one, it actually does pretty good damage. It's basically like a green sandwich right now. But yeah, so one last thing before I end this. For these numbers, these do not determine how good or how best in slot the weapons are. You do have to look at the conditional effect by yourself. But if you're looking for a single hit scaling, these numbers are basically exactly what you're looking for. And if you want to scale like skills, if you want to scale like your ultimates with the weapon on the operators, you can use these numbers to scale their ultimates and see how much damage that does. For example, let's take Surta for example, 3558. Where's Surta? So there it is, 3558, and you give that a 540% boost. That's basically how you scale that. Now, again, sorry, one last thing. If you guys are curious on, just basically want to have a look at these spreadsheet, I will link this in the description. And if you want to look at this, the damage documentation, feel free, because I will also link this down below. It's not fully translated, but you can in some capacity know what things mean. For example, right here it says transcendent damage. We don't know if that's true damage or not. I'm gonna have to ask someone for that. But some of them will say like geo damage, which is, I think I changed them all to nature. But if you see something that's very familiar, like geo damage or something like that, you can just pretty much just automatically convert that to like what is it? Nature, right? Especially here, electromagnetic damage. This is just electric damage. I'm on the wrong account right at the moment, but yeah, you get the gist, right? Scorching damage, heat damage, basically. Cold damage, let's be honest. Come on now, guys. But yeah, that is all for this video. Up until the game's release, I should probably still cover equipment, but I will get to that soon too. I'll try to get that done as soon as possible, because I am working on another video that is about the normal game instead of Endfields, and it's not a character analysis video, so it's kind of a funny thing that I want to make. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, if you got this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you when the game releases.